Alright guys, in this exercise we're going to be doing deadlifts. So deadlifts primary muscle group is you're actually working on your entire body. We're doing this under back, but when you really think about it, deadlifts is using your middle back, upper back, lower back, but at the same time it's going to work on your thighs and it's going to work on your hamstrings, and as you're pulling it's going to work on your forearms, your biceps, your shoulders. It's one of those exercises that pretty much makes your entire body a lot stronger and put muscle everywhere. You'll notice in phase 3 that we do a lot of deadlifts and we do them kind of heavy, and the reason why is because we really want to go ahead and break through any of those plateaus and shock your body. Let's get started. So I'm going to have Dan, we'll start off with the starting position. It's very important that we start off right. So Dan's going to get down, and you'll notice that right there, Dan's shins are close to his bar. Dan's bar is actually very close to his shins. Dan is standing at a wide stance, and his chest is out already, and he's looking up because that's the direction you want to go. So he's starting off very low. A lot of common mistakes, guys will start off too high and they'll actually hurt their back like that. So make sure you start off low like that. And let's get a side view and really see this position here. So make sure the pressure is on your heel, chest is out, and now let's go ahead and do the deadlift, and Dan's going to literally just stand up, and that's how you do this deadlift. And notice how Dan comes all the way to the ground before starting that next rep. So a common mistake guys do is they don't come all the way to the ground and they're not able to do a full range of motion. Okay. So, and you'll notice how Dan keeps his chest out on the top to really contract his back. And you can see almost every single muscle working, even including the core muscles. So this is one of those total body exercises. Okay, that's good, Dan. So there is a lot of common mistakes that guys make on deadlifts, but the most common one is the starting position where they round their back. So when you're standing here for the deadlift, a lot of people, when they grab the bar, first thing they do is they start off too high. So what happens is they'll start off like this, and automatically you'll see that my back is rounded. And this is a very dangerous position, more dangerous than the bent over roll, because on deadlifts you're going to use a lot more weight. So you want to make sure that instead of starting high like this with your back rounded, you want to start off low like how Dan had it, like this, to where your chest is out and you can actually look up, because you want to picture yourself going to the ceiling. And then when you stand up, you're like this. And then when you come back down, you want to make sure you lower your body all the way down. So if you're doing it wrong, this is actually what it's going to look like. You'll round your back, you'll pull like this. Notice how much stress it's in my lower back because my back is rounded. And when you come back down, you notice guys do this with their shoulders forward and the back rounded. So always keep your chest out, drop your butt down and your chest out and look up. And when you get up, you want to actually stand up. You want the pressure to drive from your heel all the way up, and so you're like this. So this is actually a power movement, but as you're practicing, you may have to go slow. But if you're doing real sets, it'll look like this. And you'll notice also how close the bar is to my thighs and my shins. So for you guys that are starting off, you want the bar to literally rub down your thighs and rub down on your shins. You know, I used to have scratches on my shins and thighs when I first learned how to deadlift. And you know, the reason why is because you got to get so close to where you're only supposed to leave about 1 inch of room. But in the beginning, to be on the safe side, literally have it touch your thighs. So again, you want to start off with it touching your shins And in the beginning, you can actually drive it up your thighs and up your shins. You don't want to start off with it too far in front of you because you're going to hurt your lower back. So keep it really, really close and drive it literally up your thighs. Like that. Okay? And then drive it back down. Use your thighs and your shins as a guide. Okay? So I'm going to do this one more time to show y'all guys. Touch your shins, drop your butt down, and literally have it touch your thighs. And then come back down. And make sure to come all the way down so you get that full range of motion. So, this is how you do a deadlift. Some of the ways you can kind of change it up is you can actually switch up your grip. And you can go with one overhand grip and one underhand grip to kind of help you out so your grip doesn't give out. Anything you want to add to this, Dan?
Yeah, so would you say that if guys are capable of doing the regular grip, they should do that rather than the over-under grip? Definitely.
Doing two overhand grips will actually develop your grip a little bit more. But you'll find that as you get heavier and heavier, it's kind of tough. So these are actually one of those exercises you may want to use a strap on.
Yeah. One other question. If a guy were to do the deadlifts and maybe if his form was a little off and he felt like a strain or something in his lower back, do you recommend continuing or should he just cut it off right there?
If he feels a strain, it kind of depends if it's like a pinch or not. This exercise is going to strain your back because it's actually working it, but you'll want to stop if you actually feel like a sharp pain.
Yeah.
If you feel a little bit of stress, then you definitely want to go lighter and kind of work on your form and make sure you get it right. Some of the modifications for this exercise, if you want, you can actually do what we call a sumo deadlift, which is kind of very similar to what Dan did. Is you stand with your legs wide, and let's kind of get a front view right here so we can kind of see. So we stand with the legs wide, and we're actually going to go ahead and grab the bar with a close grip. And the same thing, the same techniques, we're driving from our heel, we're starting off low, and we're keeping it very close to our shins and our thighs. Like that. And we'll come back down. A sumo deadlift actually works more on your middle back, and it doesn't give you as much of an overall back development, but it's still a very good way to do deadlifts. If you want to go ahead and stay with a neutral position, you want to make sure your feet placement is about the width of your shoulders, and your hands should be right outside your knees. So once you find your feet placement, you're going to grab your hands right outside your knees. So now that you have the grip, you'll see that your knees are not going to get in the way. And that's it for how to do a deadlift.